in a valley. Where rain never visited, there was a village named Al-Wadi. Once, this place was a jewel of the desert. Date palms danced with the wind, providing shade for the believers praying beneath them. The great waterfall in the valley flowed with the exuberance of Tul, bringing coolness to the land. However, all this was before people's hearts turned to stone. The drought had not only dried the soil, but it had also destroyed the mercy within the people. In this time of a difficult trial, a man named Malik gained great power in the valley. Malik was a wealthy merchant who, seeing the water levels drop, seized control of the only remaining deep well. He had high walls built around it. He placed hired men at the wellhead and began selling the water flowing from this single remaining source in exchange for gold. To him, the drought was not a test from Allah, but a business opportunity. If people want life, they must pay the price, he would mutter. Among the villagers struggling with starvation lived a young man named Elias. Elias had neither gold nor a sword. He was thin, wearing a patched robe, but knowledge flowed from his eyes. While people cursed the sky, Elias calmed the angry folk who could not cope with thirst, using stories of patience and tawakkul, inviting them to the path of Allah. One scorching afternoon, while walking on the edge of the barren land to reflect, Elias heard a sound. It was not the wind. It was a painful and sharp whimper. Behind the heavy rocks he found it. It was a wolf, a gray young wolf. Its leg was crushed under a fallen rock. It had been starving for days and had almost turned into a skeleton. It was about to die. It was helpless, panting desperately, its tongue lolling out in the dust. When Elias approached it, the wolf snarled, showing its yellow teeth. Its eyes burned with a wild and desperate rage. It was weak, but its nature was still wild. It wanted to bite the hand that could save it. "Peace," whispered Elias calmly. "Even the wildest storm bows to Allah's command." Elias did not pull back. Instead, he sat beside the creature. At that moment, the cure was not strength, but knowledge. He began to recite healing and merciful verses. His voice was like a rhythmic hum, vibrating against the heat. He poured the last few drops of water from his leather flask, which he desperately needed himself, onto the wolf's parched tongue. The transformation was subtle at first. The wild fire in the wolf's eyes dimmed, replaced by a strange calm. The animal understood that this human possessed a great power, the power of a clean heart. With great effort, Elias used a sturdy branch as a lever and freed the wolf's leg. Instead of running away, the wolf limped to Elias and rested its heavy head on the young man's knee. Wildness had turned into loyalty. The wild nature had knelt before wisdom. Days turned into weeks. The drought worsened. Malik raised the price of water again. "No money, no drop," he rumored. He was so cruel that he showed no mercy even to a desperate mother who came to him weeping. It was as if he had sworn not to give water to anyone without money. The villagers gathered at the mosque, hopelessness reflected on their faces. "We are finished," shouted an elder. "Malik holds the water. The sky holds the rain. We are trapped." Elias stood up. "Malik holds nothing but his own destruction," he said softly. "The true spring is blocked not by walls, but by our fear of him. We must go to the source in the mountains. The ancient spring has not dried. It is merely forgotten." "Malik's men hold the mountain pass," murmured the villagers, "and it is said a beast prowls there." "I will go," said Elias. 2 days later, Elias was there. But he was not alone. A shadow gliding from behind the rocks was following him. He stopped for a moment and realized this shadow was actually the wolf he had saved. It was healed now. Its thick and silver fur rippled with power. but it walked with the grace of a guardian, not a hunter. Elias and the wolf climbed the dangerous path to the mountain lake together. When they reached the source of the ancient spring, they found the truth. It was not just nature blocking the water. Malik had the water source closed off with a large stone to block the flow above. He had forced everyone to buy water from his own well. Down below, Malik stood there with 3 armed guards, a cruel smile on his face. Elias stepped out from behind the rocks. Malik laughed, saying, "So you think you are a hero? Go back, Elias, or bury yourself here." The guards drew their swords. But Elias was not afraid. He placed his hand on the wolf's neck. "Oh Allah," called Elias, "you turned the fire into a rose garden for Prophet Ibrahim. Your power is supreme. Transform this animal's strength into your mercy." The wolf stepped forward. The guards froze before the creature's size and majestic aura. They expected great savagery from it, but the wolf was filled with Allah's knowledge. The wolf dug its paws into the earth beneath the giant rock. It seemed to know that small piece that would slide this massive boulder. Great wisdom was hidden in its massive body. With a roar that shook the valley walls, the wolf slammed its shoulder against that keystone. A loud crack was heard. The massive rock slid violently downwards and shattered. Malik screamed, "No! Stop it! Kill that animal!" But his guards dropped their swords, falling to their knees in astonishment. With one final earth-shattering shove, the wolf had opened the water source. Water gushed from the source. Pure, cold, crystal-like water burst from the heart of the mountain, roared down the dry riverbed, swept away the debris, and found its way to the thirsty village below. Malik watched what was happening, frozen. Elias looked at Malik. "You took what belonged to the people and left them helpless. Allah delivers his blessing to those who deserve it," he said. Devastated and humiliated, Malik fled the valley with his gold, which was now worthless, in the face of abundant and free water. The village of Al-Wadi bloomed again. People regained their old peace. Elias continued to tell stories and give advice on the path of Allah. But he was not alone. A squall with whom he shared the love of Allah was always with him, only in the body of a wolf. The wolf, once a symbol of the untamed and dangerous, became the symbol of the nafs tamed by faith and knowledge. When Elias prayed, it would sit at the mosque door, reminding everyone as a silent guardian. Even the wildest nature can serve the truth when touched by the light of wisdom. And so, dear listeners, remember this story when you feel trapped. When a Malik blocks your path, or a drought dries up your hope, do not fear the wild monsters of your circumstances. With faith, knowledge, and mercy, even things that seem like enemies can turn into your greatest helpers. Trust in Allah, who splits the stone to bring forth water.